Welcome into Band of Bettors, a sports betting show for you to become more data-driven. Brad and Spencer Kronthal here of Alloy Sports, and we are pumped to be talking to you on Super Bowl week. We have the strategies pointing you to whatever team you like because the data is backing it up. Spencer, how you doing on Super Bowl Wednesday?
Well, we're finally here. This is what we've been waiting for. And just as we predicted, Chiefs, Eagles. Now, that may not actually be the case, but we did come close.
Absolutely. So let's go back a little bit. 2 weeks ago, seems like forever ago, in conference championship, obviously Spencer and I have been running a competition of who will predict the most correct games, and the loser has to buy the other a Chicago steak. So entering the week, I was 6-4. Spencer, you were 5-5. Last week, you had the 49ers at plus 2.5. I had the Eagles at minus 2.5. I come away with a victory there. And granted, we don't always take the opposite side, but it just so happened that we did last week. And I took the Bengals at minus 1.5. We made these bets last Tuesday. Spencer, you had the Chiefs, and you came away with a victory there. So the standings remain constant. I'm now 7-5. You're 6-6. You need a win, and for me to have a loss in the final Super Bowl bet of the season for it to remain a tie, and I guess we'll split the check then, because no matter what, I'm getting a steak. But we'll see if our picks are on the different sides here, because if not, then I think I win automatically. But I'm going to stay true to my pick. We've kind of been talking about it for a week and a half now. But entering Super Bowl Sunday, I want to walk through a little bit of how these teams got here and really how they've looked, from a betting perspective. So the Chiefs, 7-12 against the spread this season. The Eagles are 10-9 ATS. It's interesting. Right now, Kansas City, the line is at, pulling it up for the latest odds, and it's at plus 1.5 for Kansas City. So that's remained the same for a while now. Chiefs aren't often underdogs. Usually they're favorites, and if anything, they're heavy favorites, close to a touchdown or more. So it's kind of a different spread range for them to be entering this game. How does that factor into any previous research you've done when factoring in the spread and if they can cover it?
Yeah, given that this game is, it's 1.5. It's basically a toss-up. The money line will tell that same story as well. I'm treating this like a pick'em. I don't think there's any other way to treat this. If it was 3.5, I think we could treat this like a true spread game, even if it was 3. Once it gets to 1.5, I don't think this is going to be a 1-point game. I could see it coming down to the wire, but the odds of it being a 1-point game are extremely slim. So I'm treating this basically as a pick'em, as a toss-up.
Right. So if you want Kansas City, what you're saying is you might as well just take the money line, because if you take plus 1.5, at least on FanDuel right now, you're getting minus 112 odds. If you take them to just win on the money line, it's plus odds at plus 104. Reverse that, though. If you like Philly, it's more advantageous for you to take the spread at minus 105 and minus 108 versus just taking them to win at minus 122. You get shorter odds there when it comes to the actual payout. But it is interesting. Kansas City, not usually in this position, so it's not like, hey, they're 7-12 ATS. They don't cover the spread. Usually they're not underdogs. Philadelphia, on the other hand, they've been favorites too this season, and they've been, relatively good against the spread, over 500. But wanted to look at the public betting as well. So right now, this is really interesting. Philadelphia, 59% of the spread bets are going towards the Eagles, as well as 60% of the handle. Now, we're still early in the week. A lot of bets have yet to come down. I could see a big money bet being placed on the Chiefs closer to the Super Bowl. Maybe that sways some of the odds and shifts that there. But what do you think about the public saying, the majority being on Philadelphia?
Yeah, I think this is, one thing that we found is you can basically, find the points that you want. There's so much talk out there, especially with it only being one game right now. So you can either say, okay, I'm going to ride with the public, or say, hey, it's time to fade the public. When I look at this, you can really make things work however you want to. In my case, I'm saying, hey, I like the strategy to fade the public. I think there's an opportunity there. I think I'm onto something. Bottom line is that's because I think the Chiefs are going to win. If I had felt the other way, I'd say, hey, the public's onto something. We've got a 60% spread. So I think, some of the public data, wherever you're kind of leaning, you can really use it to confirm or deny, or reject your hypothesis. In my case, I'm going to say, hey, let's fade the public.
I mean, I want to get, to where we are now, and I'm sharing the odds right now. And Philadelphia still, opened at -1.5. It's still at -1.5 here. They've had a bit of an easier road, if you can say, beating the 49ers with, I mean, Brock Purdy got injured early on. They were at home. They beat the Giants as well, and then the Chiefs had to beat Cincinnati in a tough game. And we can say what we want. We're kind of moved past that already, but the officiating certainly played an interesting role in that one. I think Philly's just so healthy. They haven't really had the tough test in the playoffs. They just seem to be really refreshed here. The Chiefs have had some downfalls this season, and especially in the playoffs, they were exposed on that offensive line. Mahomes obviously got injured earlier in the playoffs too. So there's a few things there that seem to be more suspect with Kansas City. I've looked at Philadelphia all year, and whenever I've bet against them, thinking, hey, this team is due for some regression. They've kicked me right in the butt and destroyed whatever team I bet on that particular week. So I'm done betting against the Eagles. I said that entering the playoffs. They were my pick to make the Super Bowl. I thought Buffalo would be there. However, I like Philadelphia coming out of the NFC. In this particular matchup, I really like the Eagles. And so you're going to get your split here. You like Kansas City. I like the Eagles. I would take them against the spread to get that better value on the payout here at -108. And I think the Eagles just have a better defense. I think their line is going to wreak havoc on the Chiefs' offensive line. They've got great cornerbacks. I mean, the defense is fabulous. And the key is just Jalen Hurts playing a solid game. The Chiefs' defense is nothing, not star-studded. They can hold their own, but they are not going to, win a game because their defense is impeccable. Whereas Philadelphia's can.
I think going off of that D line on Philly, that's going to be X factor with Mahomes' ankle. But you look at Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat, Javon Hargrave, and Brandon Graham combined for 49 sacks this year. If they can get to Mahomes, I mean, we saw what Mahomes was like against the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl when their O line was completely hampered. That completely inhibits what he can do on the field, extending plays and moving that forward. So if Philly can get that pass rush, Mahomes' ankle isn't 100% healthy. That could be a recipe for an Eagles win. We've also seen it the other way where Chris Jones has absolutely wreaked havoc, this season into the postseason. Can he get the pressure on Jalen Hurts, go the other way, blow up the running game that Philly's so known for as well? I think just as much as we're focused on the quarterbacks, I think the D lines will play an equally, if not even more important role in this. Again, every time though I look at one team or the other, I go back, as soon as I think Philly's looking awesome, all around the running game, Jalen Hurts, the defense, the pass rush, the secondary, they've got it all. I look at the other side and I see Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, all the way down to Jerick McKinnon. Their running game is as strong as it's been in the Mahomes era.
Pacheco.
Both teams, and Isaiah Pacheco. Both teams, I mean, these are the two best teams in the NFL. What more can you ask for?
I don't even know if I'd say that. They're the two best teams in the NFL. I'm a little hesitant on Kansas City. I've rode that wave for a while. They could come out and just dominate like they've been known to do in the past, but I am not riding the Chiefs wave this year. I just think Philadelphia is a better team, and I agree with you. The Philly D-line, the Kansas City O-line is going to be the story of the game. If Philly can continue to play the way they have, I don't even think this game ends up being close. I think it's 10 points or more victory for Philly. But if Orlando Brown and the Chiefs' offensive line can hold up, then that's going to be interesting. Because if you give Mahomes time, there is no more dangerous quarterback in the NFL over the past 5 years. And that stands true. That'll be the key. And I agree with you on that. So one of the reasons why I'm betting on Philly is, like we do at Alloy, we build our own betting systems. You can too. Really simply, really easily. We have the data to back up our picks, and we've won off it all year. So I'm going to add what I think is the winning formula to my Super Bowl pick, and that's the balanced O strategy. So you're seeing the results for across this season, so they don't include the playoffs here. 58% win percentage, 13% return on investment for all the games bet in the balanced O strategy. This is specifically looking at close favorites, and this is very profitable for this spread range when a team falls into it and they fit this strategy. So what goes into the balanced O strategy? So it's a higher number of passing yards per attempt, a higher number of rushing attempts per game, and a lower number of passing attempts per game. And then we looked at one filter where the opponent is coming off a win, and obviously both teams have been winning because they're in the Super Bowl. So this strategy actually hit on both favorites last week. Had Kansas City, and it had Philadelphia. Went 2-0 in the championship round. I'm riding with it. It's been hot during the playoffs, and I like Philly. And this, I had a lean towards Philadelphia coming into the week. When they won, and it was Kansas City, and I saw the spread line. But once this strategy confirmed that Philly is the better team when combining these attributes in the filter, I was all in, and that's when I placed my bet.
Absolutely. Just to counter that, when I plug in the Alloy Wizard, accurate passing and strong overall quarterback play, these are two of Mahomes' attributes. Close favorites, not the strongest ROI, but about 93 and 76 over the last 3 seasons. So looking at those numbers, that's what I'm going off of. I'm betting on Mahomes. I'm betting on the quarterback play here.
And that's what we're going off. We both have strong strategies built by data that point us to each direction. I value, the strategy that likes the Eagles more, and you value the strategy that's pointing more towards the Chiefs. It's the Kelsey Bowl, though. We can't finish this without talking about the Kelseys. Which Kelsey, take them off a team. Which Kelsey would you sign first if starting a team? That's what I want to know.
Jason.
I'm taking Jason too, man. He's awesome.
Got to start with the O-line.
Center. Yeah, I'm curious. How good is Travis Kelce if he's not with Mahomes? He's a great player, but can another quarterback get him the ball?
I'm not here to question Travis Kelce. The one thing that I've been so impressed about Travis Kelce is he's getting the ball. They're going to him. And this is even more so this year with Tyreek Hill gone. They're going to him, and you especially know they're going to him in the red zone. He is always open.
Teams don't
There's
stop.
never anybody.
Like, who else are they guarding?
That's where I see he's agnostic of quarterback, because it's not like Mahomes throws him open. He is wide open on every single play.
Yeah, Travis Kelce is an incredible tight end. Threw a lot of shade at the Bengals after their victory, too. You got to like the swagger and the confidence there. But two really great guys, really big on social media as well. So really fun personalities. Great to see them go against each other. First ever matchup with two athletes from the same family in the Super Bowl. So that's going to be a great matchup.
And actually, according to one more strategy, if a tight end is facing his brother in the actually, 10-0. So
well, it's a shame we never got to see Shannon and Sterling Sharp go at it in the Super Bowl, because that would have been a heck of a run as well.
Absolutely.
So that's it. That's our Super Bowl picks. I hope I'm getting the Philly wins, because I want that stake. I want to win my bet too. So, we appreciate you tuning in all season long to Band of Bettors. We hope that we've provided you some really great data sources and data points to help you win your bets, because we did all season, and we look forward to winning in the NBA and then the NFL next year. So follow us at Alloy Sports. We're going to continue pumping out great strategies and winning bets. We hope you've enjoyed the content this season. We look forward to seeing you on social media and into next season. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Good luck on your bets. Take the Eagles, because they're going to win.